Good morning, everyone. It's Basma Izzat, and it's your new TV show, Faith and Astrology. 2 weeks ago, we have been discussing about astrology and Islamic astrology idiom. We have in our program today Mr. Ayhan Özci. Welcome to our show.
Thank you.
And today we have a new topic about astrology, but first let me ask you what we have said before about birth and charts.
Yeah. Let's summarize it, what we have
seen. Yeah, we can summarize it.
Previous weeks. We talked about the basis between Islamic astrology, Kaaba,
yes,
and hands, palms, yes. Without touching fortune telling, just only trying to divine personality, skills, and also life tests about. So when we know these kind of things, we can define our education and what should we do. We can know the road very well, so we can drive our life car according to this road. Yeah. So when we summarize about the life tests on the birth chart, and I explained last time, the first house is our ascendant and our general appearance after 30 years of age. The second house on birth chart is our economical situation and our skill for business. And the third house is our relations with our brother,
our social
sisters,
life.
Yeah, social life also, and our conversation, our communication. We can understand public relations even from the third house. Also the company's birth chart, when we have a look, and we can see that company's public relations and advertisement policy, how it must be, we can see from here. Yes. And the fourth house is for the parents, family, and to understand our family situation. And the fifth one is our kids and our love life and our skill for art and also literature. So do we have this kind of skill? We can see from the fifth house. And the sixth house is for health and also our skills for health medication or some skills for bioenergy or
to be more healthy,
being a doctor, nurse, and we can see from the sixth house as well. And the seventh house is our marriage and gives us ideas about the marriage and what should we do about that. And the eighth house is our closing end of our life. Also gives us just a little clues about sicknesses, illnesses. Yeah. We must pay attention about that also. According to planet and its angles, we have to pay attention the situation. So when we know this, we are going to recommend something. So that is going to be useful to prevent it. Yeah. And the ninth house is our skill for higher education, education at the university. Also, it is the skill for living abroad. Yes. And the ninth house is also in our brain, this part. And this is also showing how we look at the religion. Faith.
Our faith. Huh?
Yes. And this part is here, this part is the other side. And also, when we put our, forehead on the ground while doing praying in Islam, that is the declaration of you are the supremest, Subhana Rabbiyal A'la. And this is medium coil. And these two parts is our forehead, and we put our forehead on the ground. This is prostration, and this is declaration also who is the boss.
Yes,
we declare the God is the boss. And when we look at the zodiac, this is when the sun is at the top of the day, toppest position. And the 10th house is our skill for also business and also making money and career and fame also. For instance, if we have got some planets here, maybe we are skillful with art. But are we going to be very successful? Then we understand, is there any possibilities about that? Is there any sign for the
to gain more money
fame and the money? So we can have a look here. What planet is there here? So this gives us an idea about that. We are going to make policies about the situation. And the 11th house, when we look, that is our friendship and organization skills. And also this is the time between in the morning, 9 and 11, our mind has got the highest capacity to think, to decide. And this is ruled by Aquarius. Aquarius is the air element, so that means thinking. And the 12th house, when we look here, this is our inner side. We don't show the others, but we know what we are, who we are. And also the 12th house indicates itikaf in Islam. Itikaf is like Islamic yoga, or
it gives you inner peace and
yes.
like that.
So you listen to your heart. You start speaking God. When you are alone, you mustn't speak others. You must inside of the room exact time. So for the definition of the time, we have to look here what date or what time is the best for itikaf.
Yes.
And as you remember, we talked about Saturn and Pluto.
Yes.
Saturn and Pluto, when they are in the first house, that is the sign of being having problem with the family, with father. Maybe your father is going to be away from you when you are a child. Maybe you're going to have a little bit problems with your father. So when you know this, you pay attention this.
It's like science.
It's a sign. It's how can I say, just a little message about that. Sorry?
Hints, like hints.
Yeah. If they are in the second house, that means you must pay attention about your economical situation. You must do good saving, but not being greedy. We mustn't be greedy, but we can save money. And for the hard days, there's a saying in Turkish language, "Akakça kara gün içindir." That means the white money is for the black days.
Bad days, yeah.
And third house, when Saturn and Pluto in there, we must pay attention our communication. So we must pay attention also for our relations with brothers and sisters, for any person, brothers like or sisters like to us. And the fourth house, fourth house, then also important for our when we are a house renter, when we rent house, we must pay attention, the house owner, landlord. It's important, otherwise he is going to or she is going to make trouble to us. We must pay attention about that. Also, this is important for the parents and the relation with the parents. This is also important for country where you were born. You must live where you born or you mustn't. We must pay attention here for that. If there is Saturn and Pluto here, we must think to go other country is better for us. At least other city, not where we were born. Really, that's not good idea to live where you were born.
So it's important to know.
Yeah, and the fifth house is the children, because you may have test with the kids, so you must pay attention your child very well. So you must protect him from the drug usage or this kind of troubles. Then that is going to be nice.
We can also know that.
Yeah, we can also see that means the God may test us with our kids. So if Saturn and Pluto are here, we must pay attention for our kids. Maybe God is going to give us more kids, 5 kids, 6 kids, and a test with the more kids, or one child, and that child is going to have some trouble. You have to try to deal with it. It's not easy to cope.
Just to put in your mind.
Yeah, exactly. And the sixth house, if Saturn and Pluto in there, we must pay attention our work and relations with the boss, also our workplace mates, and also health is important. Do we have chronic sicknesses, diseases? We can see from here. What sort of disease we can understand from the horoscope as well. If Aries is there, it is the problem maybe with the head. If Taurus is there, it may be problem with your throat, this area. If Leo is there, it is the problem maybe with your heart. And if Cancer is there, it's the problem maybe with your stomach is burning or something. And if Virgo is there, that is the problem with your intestines. So you must eat good natural food, really.
Organic food.
Yeah, organic food is very important, especially for the Virgo people. If Virgo is here, and also the Saturn and Pluto if there. So if Virgo people don't eat organic and natural food, that is going to be a big problem in the future, especially the smoking ones. And the seventh house, when we look at seventh house, that is about marriages. If Saturn and Pluto in there, the marriage can come late, and the God can test
us with this thing.
Yes, with us with the late marriage, or sometimes having trouble with wife or husband, and we must pay attention what sort of person we are getting married. Really, it's important.
Yes.
Otherwise, we may have trouble, because wife or husband are more important than parents. Because the rest of our life we spend with them.
You spend with this.
So the seventh house is very important. We are going to talk this with the
today you are going to have this point.
Because many people are interested in learning.
It's most
the love match and the marriage match is. These things are important. Eighth house is about our any judicial problems, inheritance. These kind of things, and also our skill for astrology and our skill for learning irrational things. This kind of ilm, knowledge, we have to check.
Science.
Eighth house. And the ninth house, if Saturn and Pluto in there, we must pay attention when we go abroad. That means maybe somebody will steal our wallet. Maybe we are going to have some trouble in there. We mustn't lose our passport. That is very important point.
Give an attention to this.
Also, this is a warning for the educational side. If Saturn and Pluto are in the ninth house, that person may have some problem with education at the university. So he must pay attention, the discipline, learning, listening the teacher very well. These are important points for that person. Anyone who has Saturn and Pluto on birth charts. When we look at 10th house, if Saturn and Pluto are in there, fame or career can come very late. So he mustn't be very sad about that. He must be patient. Try, and he must try more. And 11th house, that is problem maybe with the friends and organizations. Any good friendship can break very easily. And when we look at the 12th house, that is seeing and meeting a lot of unthankful situations. You do favor, but people are very unthankful to you, like this. So, if Saturn, knowing positions of Saturn and Pluto, Isn't there anything to do against them?
That's what I want to say, huh?
Yeah, that is very important. And we have two ways to do something. We can try more with discipline, and also we can pray with the Asma al-Husna.
Oh, well, that's a great idea.
The two ways and two endeavors. One side is trials, and other one is praying. And the one side is, for example, in the second house, if we have Saturn and Pluto, we can pray in the morning time. If you remember last week, we talked
about me.
This was the morning pray. And in the morning pray time, about 3 and 5 o'clock Azan time, we can say Basit and Fetta. Basit and Fetta, Asma al-Husna, are important to notarizing the message of Saturn and Pluto. What is Basit? Basit means simplifying God.
Yes.
Basit is also in Turkish Basit.
Basit, yes.
That word comes from Arabic Basit, and al-Basit means the simplifying God. We can say, "Oh my Lord, only you can simplify my problems, and I can solve it, and I can cope with it. And I kindly request you to help me, please, because you are the most powerful." And when we speak like this is Islamic prayer, really.
Yes.
Not only saying, Ya Basit, Ya Basit, Ya Basit. It's also we have to talk to God.
You have to think about the name.
Of course,
and
we must know the meaning of that name, and also we must call the God, knowing that name meaning also.
Yes.
Otherwise, we are going to make God, a God is working with the cross numbers, past numbers, saying exact abjad time, abjad numbers, you know. But God doesn't work like that. God has got a feeling also. For instance, your husband collected many daisies from the country yard. He collected about 99 daisies and he brought to you. And he says, Besma, I thank you very much. You are in my life. And I collected these wonderful flowers for you. So you are more beautiful than these daisies. These are for you. Is this good? Yes, very good. But how about this? One daisy is Jalla Jalaluhu, and the Ya daisy Jalla Jalaluhu. Second, Ya daisy Jalla Jalaluhu. Third, Ya daisy Jalla Jalaluhu. Fourth, doing this 99 times. This is going to be boring for you. So we forget and we ignore sometimes that the God has got a heart, really. He has a feeling, and we must touch God's heart, really. That's very important. So we must pay attention our praise.
What we say.
Yes, what we say. When it becomes real, so we mustn't be regretful.
Yes.
Anyway, if, for example, Saturn and Pluto are here, also we can do one other thing. What is that? In Islam, sadaqah, zakah, and infaq, the money given to the poor people, those in need, are very important point, right? So we must give this money for what? For preventing also the notarizing the effect of Saturn and Pluto here. So what day is the best time to share? This is also indicating that one. Imagine the Saturn and Pluto here in Aries. So what date and what day is good to give this money to share? It is Tuesday. Why? Because Tuesday is the day of Aries. Why? Because Tuesday is the Mars day. Symbolizing Mars also, Tuesday. Tuesday has got very high energy. Anyone who was born on Tuesdays have got very big power, energy also.
Wow.
Anyone who was born on Wednesday is the Mercury day. His brain works more than others. Anyone who was born on Friday.
We have talked about Sunday.
Yeah, I'm coming.
Okay.
Anyone who was born on Friday, it's the Venus day.
Love.
Yes, that person is a, how can I say, very tend to emotional love, and very nepotic as well. Never sees his or her lover's mistakes. And very forgivable. Forgiving several times. He's not a punishing person. And it's the day of love, really, Friday. It's also a holiday in Islam, Friday, to come together, to love each other. You know, on the Friday praying at noon, Muslims are coming together. It is Arabic Juma. Juma means Juma is coming together, and it is Jem means coming together. Jami means the name of Allah is also coming together. In Turkish language, Jami means mosque, and also Jema, Jumhur, Jumhuriye. All are coming from Jam is coming together. In English language, common, company, community is all come. It's a coming together community as well. Common too.
Yes.
And anyway, when we look here, the second house, if Saturn and Pluto in there, we must give just a little, at least, sadaqah to the poor people, and then it is going to be solved very easily, that trouble. And when we look at the third place, and what are we going to do? Then we are going to give the sadaqah or praying in between 1 and 3 o'clock we pray, but about the sadaqah reflected from the horoscope. For instance, this place is Taurus, right?
Yeah.
Taurus. What is the day of Taurus? Venus. Venus day is Friday. So we must give sadaqah, zakah on Friday. Yes, that is going to be better for the better communications, better relations, and also if we have trouble with our speaking, we can say, "Oh my Lord, please open my tongue and let them understand whatever I say." It's said
in the Quran.
Yes, also the same
Musa,
in Quran.
Prophet.
This is the prayer of Moses.
Yes.
Because Moses was not speaking fluently. He had a problem while he was speaking. And he said this. And anyone also who wants to learn languages, must say this prayer also before started learning.
Yes, it's very interesting information. We have a break, a short break, then we will come back to you and continue our talk. Welcome everyone. We came back from the break. Before the break, we were talking about birth chart. Now we are going to continue with Mr. Ayhan. Mr. Ayhan, we stopped at third house.
Yeah.
Can you just tell us?
Yes.
What
we were talking the Saturn and the Pluto's position and what we can do for this. If Saturn and Pluto here in the fourth house, for instance, that means we may have life test with our parents. So we must pray, reflecting time here.
From
this is
3
night.
to 5.
This is daytime. Yes, this is last prayer of the day is we say yatsı, praying in Turkish. And for instance, this is Leo. What time and what day we should pray for the parents and the dealing with the problem with the parents. That means Saturday night. Why? Because Saturday night is in Islam, that is Sunday already. Because when sun goes down on Saturday, that new day starts in Islam.
Yes.
And this is the dawn daytime, nighttime, in the middle of the night, in the middle of the day. So this is before we sleep, the last prayer is yatsı, is Arabic Isha. And we pray for our parents. We say Basit and Fetta, and we can say, "Oh, our Lord, my parents helped me when I was child. Now we have trouble, but I can't solve this problem very easily. I kindly request you to help me to solve this problem with your Basit name and the Fetta name." Basit, if you remember, it is
we said it make it more easy.
Yes, simplifying.
Yes,
Lord.
simplifying.
And the Fetta means is opening a new way, new gates. Fetta is also the same word with Fatiha. Fatih is coming from the same root. If it is in the 5th house, we pay attention for the kids, and the 6th house for the health. So if they are in the 6th house, we must call the god with not only Basit and Fetta, but also Shafi wal Hafiz. Shafi is the curing god, and the Hafiz is the protecting god. So not only telling about Shafi or Hafiz, what we must eat sensibly. As I told you, if Virgo is there, we must eat especially organic food and healthy food. Otherwise, we may have trouble. It is not enough praying. We must also pray by action.
Doings.
Yes, we must be active in our prayer. That's important point, really. So our Muslim brothers, they must think the real prayer is also being active. Then after praying and saying orally, saying and speaking God. Otherwise, we are going to be cheeky. We are doing nothing, but we want a lot of things from the Lord.
Yes.
That is not justice, and this is not Islamic prayer and action. And the 7th house is, if Saturn and Pluto in there, we must pay attention about the marriage. We must marry carefully, and it is important to know that person whom we are going to get married must have morals and justice.
Ethics.
Two things, yes. Ethics and moral justice. Otherwise, that kind of marriage doesn't work. If there are no ethics and justice, there won't be trust in between spouses.
Each other.
Yes, each other. So that the spouses will lose trust. That is the basis of love and marriage. And when we look at the 8, is we must pay attention our health also. Yeah. And for the chronic diseases, we must pay attention. We must forgive people easily. Otherwise, any kind of revenge is causing really trouble. These different kinds of diseases, really.
Yes.
9th house for the education, 10th house for the business, 11th house is for the friendship, and the 12th house for the inner side positions we have to pay attention.
Yes.
These are for the life tests. What about the marriage?
Yes, we can pick one and we can talk about it. The marriage and birth chart.
Yeah.
How can they affect each other?
Yes, and for instance, the people are doing this mostly. He says or she says, I am Virgo, she's Capricorn. We can
match to either.
Match, wonderful. He or she says this, but that's not true, because birth chart must be compared, matched. Otherwise, we can make mistake, really. Not only sun, but also ascendants. For example, anyone whose ascendant is Pisces. His spouse is ascendant is Scorpio, can match very well. But also we must check Venus and Mars. Where are the positions of Mars and Venus? Why?
This is two most important planets.
Yes, because Venus is our soul and love, how we love.
And Mars?
Mars is our sensual harmony with our spouse. If Mars is not good also, there is love each other, but there is no harmony on sensuality. And then that kind of marriage also can break. The spouses must pay attention also. The harmony of Marses are very important too. And Mars is our energy also. And it shows that where is our energy. So if Mars is in, for example, second house, that is the energy. When we earn money, we have energy on that. Mm-hmm. And speaking, how can I say? If it is in the third house, that means
if we have a good social life,
conversation.
Yes.
But we are going to be a little bit tough. Also, we must pay attention to the angles inside of the zodiac and the position of the planets each other. Then we can have a good idea about the Mars. If, for instance, the Mars is here in the third house, has got wonderful angle with Jupiter here in the 11th house, it's 120 degrees, let's say. That is very good communication with the friends, and a very good spending time with the friends, really.
Yes.
And but if Saturn is here and the Mars here, 12th house Saturn and the 3rd house is Mars, that means because of the bad communication, that person can be alone. Criticizing.
He can't make friendship and get friendship.
Yes, this is very bad because this is indicating that person doesn't know how to speak and where to stop.
He doesn't have the skills.
Yeah, that's why he's going to have trouble with his or her relations. Then he or she are going to be
alone.
That's an important point, really.
Yes.
If Mars in the 4th house is good for making money over real estate, but can have trouble with the parents as well because of the high temper. Father or mother, maybe one of them, maybe two of them, have got high temper, losing patience about the kid, and they can behave the child rough, and that is going to be big problem for the child as well. So we must pay attention the angles too. If angles are okay, then this trouble is going to go down, and it is going to much more positive about family life.
Yes.
And the 5th house, if Mars is there, it is good for skills of art too. He or she will have skill for art with high energy, never get tired.
Never get bored from these things.
Never get bored.
Drawing
and
yes.
And high energy. Of course, we have to look at the angles too, and the angles are giving us very big and important information, commenting Mars in the 5th house too. So this is also reflecting how we behave our kids too. If we behave well or not, then we can understand if we are impatient or patient.
And encourage them to
encouraging for the
skills,
events,
improve their skills.
Some other things we can say. If Mars is in the 6th house, that means he or she must pay attention about health for the bad angles.
Yes.
And also the Mars is, we must think, the harmony with spouse birth chart too. If it is fit or not. We must pay attention this very well. This is much more technical, but what I can say, I recommend anyone who is trying to get married with someone, he or she must pay attention to the birth chart, and the Venus and the Mars, observing these things are important points, really.
Yeah, should we have knowledge about all of this before we know someone or to pick someone?
some
it's
clever,
difficult.
Some clever couples.
Yeah, first question you ask to someone when you born, what's your horoscopes?
Yeah, that is why a lot of women are asking men their horoscopes. But of course they are not astrologers, and they try to define that person from just one sun position. But I recommend them to know more about astrology and about the positions of Venus and the Mars are important too. So otherwise, just looking at one horoscope and making commands over one horoscope, that doesn't work really.
Yes,
Yeah.
It's difficult.
And some clever couples, they pay attention to this, and before they get married, they try to make synastry. Synastry means comparing birth charts and knowing what is good, what is bad. If they know this very well, then they behave each other according to their characters. That is much more better, and a better harmony too.
And you can avoid any differences, or
yeah. For instance, your husband or wife can be angry for some specific things. Maybe he or she are impatient about some specific things. Then you must pay attention that person is impatient, and also maybe he or she will have some trouble, impatience in communications. So you must pay attention to this. You must pay attention really. You must give time for him to speak more like this.
Give space.
Yeah, space, exactly. Maybe some of them, for example, are they like to be free. Everyone want this really, but some horoscopes, when we look at map Uranus, for example, Uranus is symbolizing freedom also. So in what place, in what horoscope it tells us that person's freedom, and where. If Uranus in the, for example, 6th house, he wants or she wants to be free in the workplace, then he's going to be or she's going to be much more creative in the workplace if he's or she is free.
Yes.
And the boss, any boss, if that worker's position, if Uranus here, he must give space for that person to be much more creative.
Or he or she can be the leader.
Yeah,
have this
depending the other planets, also depending the other horoscopes positions too. And there are also some other points. For instance, you are Leo.
Leo, yes. Freedom is very important thing.
Freedom is very important. Your ascendant is Sagittarius, but the 2nd house is Capricorn, right?
Yes.
The 2nd house ruler is Saturn. And where is your Saturn is very important. That the 2nd house is Capricorn, and your Saturn is in the 1st place. That means your economical situation is going to a little bit rough, but that means also you're going to get help, assistance from the father.
Yes.
And that means support of him. If it is here, your economical situation depends on your communication and discipline. And if it is in the 4th house, your Saturn, because of the ruler of the economical sign, that means you're going to get money from real estate. And if it is in the 5th house, that means you're going to get money from art, maybe, criticizing art. You can be a very good editor in publishing houses. So that is going to be an income point indication. Yes. And if it is in the 6th house, that means you can be also a medical worker, and giving some signs about that. So that is going to be great to define about definition about the roadmap. Yes. In fact, the birth chart is a roadmap, navigator.
Yes. We also said about Prophet Muhammad's birth chart, and you know when he is born.
Yes.
How can you first know these things?
Yeah, and according to the sources, Prophet Muhammad was born in between 15th of April till 20th of April, but mostly sources are writing 20th of April.
It depends on...
I checked this in 571 after Jesus, he was born.
Yes.
And I checked every day from 15 till 20th of April. And this 20th of April is very logical. But this is not enough to know, to define about the birth chart of Prophet Muhammad. There is a rectification method. If you know one person's life very well, you can define his birth time exactly. Yes. How I knew that he was born in between 1 and 3 o'clock in the night, in the morning, let's say, because he was born after 12 o'clock. Yes. So he was born in between 1 and 3. This is the time of communication.
1 and 3 a.m.
Communication time. This is the house of Gemini, good conversation. But when I checked that one, Prophet Muhammad's ascendant is Aquarius. Yeah. He is Aries, his sun is in Aries, but his ascendant is Aquarius. And I have seen in the 1st house also, it's Pluto. It must be there because he was orphan. He lost his father before he was born, and also he lost his mother sometime later when he was child.
That's very interesting topic.
Point, yes.
We can make another episode about this to talk in details. So unfortunately we are out of time. Next week we are going to continue this topic. Yeah, this position. See you again.